What's going on? What's up? What is happening? Friends and family and friends, welcome to this week's episode of Grover Takeover. I am MT Aunt Grover. You know I am the Grover. Before I get started, remember that I need for you to like, comment, subscribe if you're watching this on YouTube. Share. Remember that sharing is caring, lady and gentlemen. I need for you to share this so that we can be exposed to more people and you can get more of this content all of the time, just the way that I know you want it. I'll be right here for you. But first, let's go ahead and do this episode and knock it right on out of the park. I'm going to jump right in because, as usual, I have a lot to talk about. And I am going to start off on the somber note. My somber note this week is actually the second part of my somber note last week. You know, last week I talked about the death of Tyree Sampson, the 14-year-old that fell out of the amusement park ride at Icon Park in Florida. And I told you about his cousin, Shay Johnson, who spoke to him on the phone. And, you know, Shay said, oh, I talked to him right before. He called me before every ride. He told me he had been turned away from 2. She said when he said that finally called and said that he could ride this particular ride, she told him to ride it twice, ride it once for her. This is a lying heifer. This is a lying wench. Come to find out, the reason why this is my somber note is because come to find out, this lady is not even this boy's cousin. In fact, the family says that they don't even know her. She's been collecting money in a GoFundMe, the cousin of the poor tragic death at Icon Park. Yeah. The family came out, identified, and said they don't know the lady. They've never met her before. They've never seen her before. She made it all up. Be very clear that she did a very extensive news interview, and talked in depth about her conversations with Tyree, but right before he died, and then she started collecting money at the GoFundMe, the strip club that she works for fired her when all of this information came out. They wanted no parts. She's a stripper, which is fine. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong. I mean, but, about to skirt. You see why I use that as my somber note. It is a sad, sad day. Something's wrong with people. Something is really wrong with people. Mariah Carey, the songbird supreme, the elusive chanteuse, the lover of my soul and my... Mariah has become RIAA's top certified female artist for albums sold. That's here in the United States. She continues to break ground and make history with the Recording Industry Association of America. That's what RIAA stands for. The music icon is now the top-selling certified female for albums in the United States. 69.5 million equivalent units sold. This breaks her tie with Barbra Streisand. Now, she has sold well over 220 million albums worldwide, but she is still currently second to Celine Dion. Celine Dion is right there with her at 220, but the margin is very narrow and continues to narrow because she is catching up to and soon will surpass Celine. The reasons: Carey's old albums continue to always break sales. I think it contributes a lot to her Lamely, who is her fan base. They showcase a song a day every day on her major websites. And I feel like that, that song a day makes people look at the song, then listen to the album, then they reminisce, or either they never heard it before, so they, stream it or either buy it off of iTunes or whatever. But she continues to chart She has had 4 albums in the last few recent months that have begun to chart again after many, many years of release. And let's not forget that every year at Christmas, her All I Want for Christmas single, which has been certified diamond status last year in 2021, which means it has sold over 10 million copies. Only holiday song to ever do this. This is Mariah Carey we're talking about. Don't have to spend a lot of time on this. I can skirt right past. She is who she is. She's gonna continue to do what she does. It makes you sad for when you think about, like, you wish a Whitney Houston were still alive so she could still be kind of contending and going back and forth with this Vivica A. Fox skirting. Vivica A. Fox gave us a new phrase this week. We are in bewilderment. She told us that we are in bewilderment. I'll put it right there so you can see it. Will Smith resigned from the Academy the other day, following the slap heard round the world. I talked about it last week, how he went up on the stage and slapped Chris Rock in the face at the Oscars, the 64th Oscars. You would have to have been living under a rock. Not even living under one, but in some type of comatose or drug-induced sleep underneath a rock to not have heard about this, because that's all people have been talking about all week. But either way, he went up there and smacked him, and he went ahead and resigned. I feel like this was Will getting in front of, like, he was like, I'm not going to wait for them to come and kick me off and all this. I'm just going to resign. Now, what this means is that Will can still be nominated and win Oscars. He just can no longer vote. Yeah, I guess a good cleanup method. He still should, it should be worse than this. It should be worse. Beyond the fact that Chris Rock should have ran and jumped across his back and tackled him to the ground when he was on his way back to his seat and blackened his eye, maybe choked him, since he attacked him from the back. I'm just saying. Either way, he should have pressed charges against him or something. Like, I just don't get it. He went up there and let him smack him. I still can't get rid of it. As Bobby Jones used to say all the time, I can't get rid of it. I can't get rid of it because I still feel like it's staged. It's just too much. It's just something to it, something about it. When it comes out, you guys are going to be like, he tried to tell us. He tried to tell us. I'm about to skirt along to my last thing. I'm in bewilderment that we're still talking about this and that Chris Rock has not pressed Lee Daniels and Monique. Lee Daniels made a public apology to Monique on a stage in front of us all. I watched the apology. She was doing a speech or something, whatever, but he came up there and he was very apologetic. He said he was sorry for hurting her, if he ever hurt her, and, took it all back. Apparently now they're about to work together, He talked about how he and Monique were actually best friends, that she used to be his best friend. He was vocal about how, The Precious wasn't just a movie. It was the Lord working through both of them to get that story out. Wonderful. But then it's been 13 years. 13. If you felt like this, you could have apologized to this lady a long time ago. She's been going around for 13 years talking about how you, the Lee Daniels and the Oprah and the Tyler Perry wronged her and blacklisted and blackballed her in Hollywood. The lady doesn't really work. She's labeled as difficult. And then here you come 13 years later. Oh, and they stood up there and hugged, and she laid her head over, and she put her hand to her mouth, like, because she was so full of emotion. They're both so full of just full. They're very, very full. Yeah. T.S. Madison came forth and wanted to make it very clear that it was the appearances by both of these individuals on her show that promoted and put this into action. They tried to say it was 50 Cent, saying he was going to cast her, and, saying that Tyler Perry and Oprah should apologize and this. Well, I feel like I don't think that had as much to do with it. I mean, maybe, I don't know who, I feel like they're responsible. Lee Daniels took it upon himself to jump up here. But I mean, the difference between Lee Daniels and 50 Cent and what they're doing, the 50 Cent talked about how he's going to cast her and said they should apologize. Lee Daniels did apologize. And then 50 Cent talked about how he's going to cast her. Lee Daniels cast her. She's taking Olivia Spencer's spot in one of his new movies. I don't know why Olivia Spencer can no longer do the movie. Doesn't matter. Monique's gonna do it now. Already set in place. 50 Cent. Talk is cheap. I don't know what you heard about me, but a bitch can't get $1 out of me. I do hope that you have enjoyed this week's edition of Grover Takeover. Before I end this, I just wanted to say this and throw this in there real quick. Kirk Franklin's son, Kerryon Franklin, got outed on the Bad Boys Los Angeles show. I knew that show was going to be a bunch of mess when I first saw that it existed. Doesn't matter. He was bullied into coming out of jumping. I guess they threw him and slung him out of the closet by his hair, by his dreadlocks. I'll talk about that a little bit more later next week. Remember that I need for you to like, share, comment, subscribe. If you're watching this on YouTube, click down and reach that notification bell so you can be notified of all available content. I love you. I love you. Remember that I need for you to have a good day, to have a good night, and to have a good life, and to tune in for the next episode of Grover Takeover. Let's just keep this thing going the way we've always had it going. Did you check out my new cooking segment? I finally did for you. You've been asking, and there it is. I'm expecting you to watch it. I'll be watching, but I will also be waiting to see you next time on next week's episode of Grover Takeover. I guess before I go, I might as well make the lighting change like I normally would do for you. The remote slipped out of my hands. Sorry. I'm trying to get it right for you. It's not cooperating. Yeah, there it goes. Okay, now let's go. Insert obligatory laugh right here.